Yeah, I will. Hi everyone, it's Andrea here from Admire PR, and today I am joined by Sarah from Kitchen Tidbits, and I know Sarah from social media, so this is where I see Sarah's tips for feeding families and the weekly menus, which are my favourite thing. Like I was like, oh, what's Sarah doing this week? Because it gives me so much inspiration for my three kids who all kind of like slightly different things. So and then also trying to help them introduce like new things. So so thank you for the social media like joy that you give me, Sarah. But maybe we can start by chatting about how you started your business and where the idea came from.
Yeah, so I had been working previously with a friend of mine doing corporate communications, but in the background, bubbling away, was this thought in my head that I want to follow a passion for food and share my knowledge. And it became quite clear from working with family, friends and neighbours, people just are missing some fundamental life skills around being in the kitchen and enjoying family mealtimes instead of them being a chore. So after having my second child, I decided I wasn't going back into the corporate world. I was going to follow that passion and see where it took me. And so Kitchen Tidbits transformed from being a blog and something I did as a hobby into a business. And yeah, I've been going for 4 years now, or nearly 4 years, and been growing and evolving in that time, but absolutely loving what I do, and every day getting to help people and talk about food, which is just my favourite topic.
I love it. So what's the most common thing people come to you for? Is that fussy eaters, or would that be the most common problem?
Yeah, absolutely. It's around fussy eating issues. I do work with people more holistically on the practical aspects of family meal times. So not only do we tackle those challenges of children restricting their food intake and not eating a wide variety of foods as we'd like them to, but also we look at how we can save time and energy in the kitchen, make best use of our ingredients as well. So bringing into it some control and reduce stress through meal planning, looking at easy ways to reduce food waste, building confidence in the kitchen. And like you said, with my meal plans and my recipe suggestions on social media, it's about inspiring people to cook and really enjoy the food they're eating rather than being stuck in a rut, eating the same meals week in, week out, and bring some joy back and some fun around the table, and to enjoy quality family time together, to reframe it from mealtime to family time. It is sometimes one of the only times we get to be together in the day, and it's nice to connect and really have fun together.
Yeah, that's really lovely. I like that, just that simple mindset between kind of meal time and family time. I know from my own experiences how it's very easy for children to feel quite, I don't know, like they've got to behave a certain way at a meal time, and sometimes it's when you're seeing extended families, and that's a kind of tradition, and it can be quite stressful.
And it doesn't need to be like that at home every day. They can learn the social aspects of eating. They can learn about, this is how we would behave when we're at a restaurant or when we're with grandparents, or but at home we can take the pressure off the food and that pressure to eat, and actually just have time together. It just so happens that there's food on the table as well. And by taking that pressure off, children are more likely to explore food. So there's countless benefits for doing that.
Definitely. And what about I find that one of my children is, when I'm cooking, she'll be with me and like to help, and that's when she talks most. I found that, what are your tips for getting children involved in cooking and helping out in the kitchen?
Yeah, do it from as early on as possible, and do it regularly, and getting them involved whenever you can. And really, it doesn't have to be a big focus on, baking a cake or helping to prepare dinner there and then. You can do little bits if you're at home, little bits throughout the day, scrubbing some carrots here, chopping some vegetables there, just getting the bits and pieces out the cupboard and the fridge that you need. And even those small tasks really support children to develop a love of food and become familiar and comfortable around foods, which then help them to explore, which leads them to then trying and eating them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a massive task, but whatever you can, even helping unpack the shopping and talking about the ingredients you've got. It can be as simple as laying the table and helping that transformation from the activities that they were doing, the video time, whatever it is, to meal time, and help them make that switch in their brain that it's now about meal time. And anything you can do, honestly, and squeeze in. It doesn't have to be chopping with knives if you're not comfortable with that. Every little bit helps, it really does.
Yeah, I find mine love mushrooms and just like pulling them apart.
Something quite therapeutic about that.
Yeah, it's it must be the feel of them, but yeah, they
my
love
daughter
that.
loves helping with the mushrooms.
Yeah,
That's
it's
always
funny,
her
isn't
job.
it? Yeah, I love that. And I know, like, I mean, my kids are a bit older than I know your youngest is, but a lot of the kind of family food that I grew up with was very plain. I didn't really have any sort of herbs or anything. And there was a whole kind of thing like, oh yeah, children don't like want anything that tastes of anything, which is like not true. I know it's not true, but how would you suggest like people starting to introduce like new flavors or what they might consider like grown-up kind of flavors? How would you start to introduce things if your kids aren't used to that?
Yeah, so I quite often get asked, can you recommend some family friendly recipes? And I don't think that exists. Any food, any meal can be made family friendly. And it is about, from an early age, introducing those flavors and different textures and a wide variety of ingredients, and presenting it on the table with some familiar, some preferred foods, so that there's always something on the table that they can access, that they can satiate their hunger with, and then go off exploring other things.
Yeah.
If possible, keeping flavoursome, spicy sauces separate to other ingredients so that they can control, first of all, whether they have it, and secondly, how much of it they have, and when they take that. But yeah, don't be afraid to have spices and herbs and things on the table. Keep what you're making relatively plain and simple, and using fragrant spices and fresh herbs. And then you can add chilies and chili sauces and other more challenging ingredients at the dinner table to whatever you're doing, and make it a bit more interesting and enjoyable for you, but still be accessible for your children. But don't be afraid to offer flavor. I mean,
That's where the
they
joy
get
is,
in
right?
that even in the womb. So, to
Yeah,
then
that's
suddenly
true.
be given bland flavors is
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's a great tip about like offering like familiar foods at the same time. And then then because a hungry child and a hungry mum is like sometimes like needs to be sorted out first before anything new happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're more likely to explore other foods if they have just taken the edge off the hunger. So when we are putting preferred and safe foods out on the table, it is just enough to satiate that hunger, not to fill them up. So, you know, they do have that option then to go and explore other things afterwards.
Yeah, brilliant. Oh, thank you for this little insight into your business and what you
Okay.
do with families and children. And I will make sure that we share your contact details and any links you would like us to share along with the video. But thanks for your time,
Fantastic.
Sarah.
Thanks for having me, Andrea.